All right, let's get this show on the road. It's Trimet board meeting. And I have energy left. I'm surprised. I did all the calls myself today. Took me 3 hours. And there were some very enjoyable calls. But now we're on to the business of the Trimet board. And these meetings have been pretty interesting lately. So let's see what they got for us.
Provide information to the board related to items on the agenda or other items of concern about Trimet. And we will try to answer those if we can, the general manager's comments, first part of our agenda. I'm looking at the list. Jeff, it looks like we only have one other person other than Congressman Bluemenaur. Is that correct?
Oh, you got Bluemenaur. Shit.
Yes, that is correct. I only have one raised hand so far.
Nobody wants to talk to the puppets, and why not? Because it's a waste of time.
If any other members of the public wish to testify, please find the raise hand icon in the participants window and raise your hand. Thank you.
Good. And we usually try to limit the testimony to 3 minutes, and I would encourage anybody who has longer testimony to send it to us.
Send it to us in writing so we can ignore it.
And you can see, I think, on the agenda where the testimony can be sent via email or on our website. So I
think we only got one more meeting of this son of a bitch, and he's finally going to go out to his next crony position. He's done an excellent job maintaining the oligarch's rule at Trimet. He's really been good, man. Horrible for the employees and horrible for the riders, but boy, for the oligarchy and the technocracy, he was the man. And he's been here like 9 years. I've been watching this son of a bitch now. More than 9 years. That's how long he's been here.
To start the public forum, and we have the pleasure, as you can see.
He outlived McFarland. He outlived Kelsey. And now he's got to sue. He's probably going to be there to make sure the next general manager meets up to the cronyism quota. You know, he's a trusted insider. That's why he's there. And you can see how smooth he is.
See having the Honorable Congressman Earl Bluemenaur here this morning.
Yeah, now let's stop because Bluemenaur made a comment. For those of you who aren't paying attention, like me, who I watch this every day. It's one of my major sources of entertainment is the Trimet world. And Bluemenaur made this comment to the effect of no light rail, no bridge. That's that. No light rail, no bridge. I'm going to hold everybody hostage to my pals in the light rail mafia. That was his comment. We don't get our way, you're not getting your bridge. And Bluemenaur really has been in Congress way too long. And he's got an act. He's got one of the best acts I've ever seen from a politician. His act is just spectacular. His little bicycle pin and his little act that he has is just, and he's been in there forever, and he owns that seat. And I am a big advocate for term limits for these motherfuckers, man.
And thank you so much for taking time to talk with us, Congressman. So I'm going to turn it over to you.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much. I appreciate your courtesy, Bruce, for me to join with you. These are amazing times in your nation's capital. I will say, some of us have been around a long time.
Yeah, like you.
You, Keith. I mean, there are a few of us that are geezers. Nothing like this that we've ever seen.
I'm a geezer.
But by the same token, you've been navigating challenging territory for over a year now, and I just want to express my deep appreciation for what the board and the agency has done to provide this essential service for our community.
Yeah, here we go.
Right now, keeping your employees and the public safe. You've in your spare time, you've negotiated a contract. I understand that may be on the agenda for ratification today. I really appreciate the hard work that went on both sides to reach a settlement that is in the best interests of the employees, of the agency, and most importantly,
everybody
for the
wins in
public.
the contract, right?
That
Everybody won.
matters.
Everybody won, right? According to this politician, everybody came out ahead, and we know that's not true. No, not everybody wins. Somebody lost, but they're not going to tell you that. It looks to me like the employees lost. I mean, the fact that they can't even get a 3% COLA is a huge loss.
A lot. We're going to be facing some choppy waters ahead. One of the issues that I'm spending a lot of time thinking about and would like to explore with you is just what precisely is going to be the future of public transportation in our community and nationally.
This is hilarious because the ridership is gone. So let's hear what he has to say about this. Let's hear this.
It was mind-boggling a year ago when we had the CDC recommending that people not use transit for public health reasons. We're watching the changes that have taken place in terms of the workplace. We live half our lives now on Zoom calls. What's going to happen with office space and working patterns in the future? We're all going to be learning about this together, and I don't think we're going to be returning to what we used to regard as normal anytime soon.
There is no normal.
I appreciate what you have done as an agency. Sam Deshoe stepping in an interim basis. This is a big, important job at a time of change in the transit industry, and appreciate the hard work that you've done. Seeing some new members, Laverne Lewis, particularly out in East County, which has been kind of a flashpoint at times for Trimet, and thinking about some of the people I've worked with on the board dating back to Margaret Weil as the mayor of Gresham. There were some big challenges then, and they continue. It's also great to see some young blood on the board. No disrespect, Keith, to you and Bruce, but Ozzy and Kathy, I've really enjoyed my interaction with you, and bringing that energy to the board is really, really important. Linda Simmons.
He's been there since 1996, so that's 2006, 2016. 26 years, 25 years he's been in this seat. Way too long, way too long. And before that, he was on the Portland City Council.
Women's work on the ballot measure, and Lori, your leadership with the disabled community, for instance, has been really, really important. And work that you've done with the Division Transit Project. It's an area near and dear to my heart that I used to represent in the legislature, an area that I grew up and have family ties. So you bring the dimensions to the board that I think serves us well as a community. You're going to hear tonight the president recommend $85 billion for investment in transit, replacing 50,000 diesel buses. And you're, of course, starting work on that now, and we hope that we're going to be able to help you a little bit in the short term with some federal resources to move that along. You're investing in our future. It's going to be, I think, an opportunity for a low carbon future, less pollution, more efficiency, but it's, again, changes that we're all going to be thinking about in terms of how we navigate these amazing times. The cries for racial justice cover everything that we're doing. It has been
And they've been ignored.
I think wrenching to see some of the upset in our community as we're trying to get our footing and speak to long neglected needs. The pandemic has exposed all sorts of disparities in our community in health, in economic opportunities, the neighborhoods themselves.
Okay, Pooey, you're racist.
Transit in general, and Trimet in particular, is a very important change agent. Transit provides the network that holds us together.
It seems like I've heard this somewhere. I think he's made this presentation before, because I've heard this before. Of course, this is complete bullshit. It's, 6% of the metro, it's less than that now. 6% of the metro area population uses Trimet. So this is just baloney, propaganda, rhetoric.
Transit has provided a tremendous amount of value to the community, adding value to property, to individual businesses.
Adding value to property.
The challenge we have is...
At least he's honest about that. That's right. That's the whole goal of transit in Portland, is to add value to property and business. He hit it. At least he told the truth. Of course, that will go over everybody's head. But that's been the whole goal of Trimet since, that was before I got there, and just sped up really fast when Fred Anson took over.
Is how to navigate that value that transit provides and try and monetize it.
Oh my God, he's just being honest. He's being honest. Does anybody understand what he's just saying here? He's talking the neoliberal language. Does anybody actually realize what he's saying besides me? He's talking the truth here. This is the truth. How do you get these public dollars into private hands? How do we use this money from the public, which is supposed to go to help riders? How do we use that money to make developers rich? And he's coming right out and saying it.
Able to meet the financial needs going forward.
Wow.
I look forward to being your partner in Congress.
Of course you are.
Federal resources, and with my friend and colleague Peter DeFazio navigating an infrastructure bill through the House, with the administration.
Yeah, the Biden infrastructure bill is a joke, by the way. I'm not going to get into that right now, but I've done some reading about it. I've watched some presentations about it. It's a joke. Biden's a joke.
Committed to massive investment in infrastructure, and as I mentioned, particularly for transit. I think we've got unparalleled opportunities. Not that it's going to be easy, but I think the case is made. We've already seen $1.9 trillion that's been invested in the recovery package. Some of that has already been flowing to the state, to local governments, to transit. How we move forward to build on that momentum and give people the service they want while we deal with a low carbon future, prize for racial.
He just told me to fuck up. Today I get him. Yesterday he got me.
Justice and getting our community back together after a period of great turmoil. I appreciate what Trimet has done over the years.
Yeah.
I appreciate what you're doing now, and look forward to being your partner going forward.
Oh, yippee doodle. Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Bluemenaur.
Thank you so much for your long-standing leadership in transportation and environmental issues. It's great to know we have a partner back in Washington, D.C. And I want to thank you and our entire delegation in Congress for providing the CARES Act and the COVID relief packages that have really helped us ensure that we can transition to that new future over the next few years, because without that infusion of dollars, things would have not been very pleasant around here. So it's greatly appreciated. And again, look forward to helping you in any way we can back in Congress, because we want you to be successful in the things that you're talking about there. So again, thank you. I guess I could turn over to any of the board members real quick if anybody else had any comments for the congressman before you have to sign off.
I would just like to say, Congressman, thank you very much for your leadership. It has
Here
been
we go.
really
Key it
a
up.
pleasure having you as our congressman, especially in my district out of Oregon. And your leadership has really been outstanding. And I applaud you for that and your steadfastness. And I just know that your heart is in the right place, your head is in the right place. And I certainly appreciate all that you do and all that you're going to continue to do in the future. So thank you.
Thanks, Keith.
And I couldn't resist the opportunity to echo the sentiment. Thank you for your
Ozzy,
leadership.
baby!
I
Ozzy,
can't
got you
imagine
guys
all
here.
of the things happening right now over in D.C., but it's great to know that we have you representing us from Oregon over there and bringing the great information today about the leadership that Biden.
Ozzy is the next mayor of somewhere. Travis Stovall became mayor of Gresham. We knew he was going to be in office, and this guy's going to be in office too. You watch.
We'll be announcing is tremendous news. So I'm really excited to see what the future holds for us, and I'm really excited to know that you're at the helm and that we.
What the future holds for us, we the elites. Okay, we the elites of Trimet. Your future is good. The elites of Trimet are in good state. You're fine. The best thing that ever happened to the elites of the world is COVID. It was the best thing that ever happened to them. Not only did their stock portfolios go up 50%, but they never had to go to work again. I mean, COVID is not what you think it is. Okay, this is a whole global plan going on here. It's more than a fucking shot. The shot is a distraction. You know, this is a whole global reset. They admit it. They talk about it. It's in the open. It's not a conspiracy theory. It's right out in the open. But everybody's so brain dead, they don't understand it.
We've got you with the Biden administration in connection with this.
That's the only thing good I can say about Biden is at least he's not Trump. Oh my God, it was Trump. Can you believe we put up with 4 years of that guy? But let me say this much, because I remember that whole, when he got in, everybody was predicting the end of the world. Guess what? The world didn't end. Trump was an act on a stage. And he was able to, he got a cult to himself. The guy formed the stupidest among us fell for his act. And it's an amazing feat. And it's also amazing to realize how many really stupid Americans surround us. But Trump didn't destroy the world after all, and I remember everybody saying he's going to bring the entire world down. He didn't do shit in the end. In the end, they canceled his show and sent him home without his supper.
Thank you, Ozzy. I look forward to all of us continuing this conversation as we try and navigate these challenging waters.
Funny.
Again. Well, thank you again for taking the time out of your busy day. I really appreciate it. And you're welcome to listen to the entire rest of the Congressman.
Well, I'm afraid if I tarry too long, and it would be interesting, I'm going to get yelled at because I too sort of go from meeting to meeting. But let me just say that I am looking forward
you go from
later
meeting to
this
meeting,
year,
bring the
maybe
head
when
hack.
things return to normal, when we're all vaccinated and it's safe, that we'll have an opportunity to visit in person. These issues that you're wrestling with are of deep interest to me.
What is she?
And you are going to be part of the cornerstone for how we pull together, return to normal, and what we do for the future.
What a bunch of
So please, maybe we can find some time when it's safe that we can just sit down, share a cup of tea, and do a little brainstorming together.
Great. Look forward to that. Thank you again.
Okay, get out of
Thank
here.
you.
Goodbye, Bluemenaur. See you later.
All right, Jeff, you want to call the folks in order who've signed up also to testify this morning?
Oh, look, wait, stop. They've look, forum will begin 30 minutes and forum will last from 8:30 to 9. So they've cut 15 minutes off the public forum. Trimet is less and less accountable. But it doesn't matter. The public forum is a waste of your time. You know, people who've been following this know that.
Yeah. So first up is going to be Bill Bradley. Bill, you are unmuted.
Oh, they do have people. Oh, good. Oh, wait, yeah. This pen doesn't.
Bill, are you there?
Come on, Bill. For Christ's sake.
All right. So,
does that sound good?
Is that you, Bill?
yeah, we can hear you now.
Okay. Appreciate that. Thanks for working with me on that one.
Okay, Bill.
All right. Good morning, President Warner, several members of the Trimet Board, Interim General Manager Sam DeSue Jr., assembled Trimet staff, listening public, and hopefully Earl Bluemenaur still. My name is Bill Bradley. I am the Executive Board Officer with Amalgamated Transit Union 757. I come before you today to speak on the recent tentative agreement between our organizations.
Okay.
ATU members at Trimet had the opportunity to vote on this agreement through mail-in ballots. I had the privilege of supervising the tabulation of these ballots by a team of ATU Executive Board officers from across the region last Friday. Through the bylaws of ATU 757, the tentative agreement must pass each of the three respective divisions within Trimet, which it did by large majorities. This affirms that the ATU 757 bargaining team was fighting for proposals that the members felt were important.
I'll interrupt him there. The members will vote yes on anything. Okay. They've never voted against the contract, not since I've been involved. I guess the last time was in the 80s when there was almost a strike. But that was long before my time. I didn't get there till 96.
And made agreements that the members found satisfactory. The word of the ATU elected leaders must be respected, for the members of the ATU have come through with strong backing of this agreement. It has now been 566 days since bargaining over this working and wage agreement commenced, and I think we can all agree that this is an unacceptable duration. Trimet's insistence at the beginning of the wholesale elimination of the Trimet apprenticeship programs and the legal warfare the Trimet leadership engaged was, in the end, the driving force behind much of the delays. Sure, a global pandemic sprung up along the way, but that was more than 140 days after bargaining had begun. Our members had also stepped up through social unrest, devastating wildfires, and dangerous icy conditions during the span of these negotiations. After Trimet truly came to the table to discuss apprenticeships and training opportunities, the contract was settled in about 48 hours. Frankly, that's telling. Unfortunately, while a deal was made, Trimet continued to utilize a corporate lobby firm to muddy the waters in Salem on a bill that would have made apprenticeships a mandatory subject to bargaining. Trimet has failed to learn the lesson that these are extremely important and impactful issues in the workplace and should be treated as such. Trimet's legislative testimony and work behind closed doors brought forward a scathing rebuke from Labor Commissioner Val Hoyle. ATU 757 appreciated the support of a wide swath of elected leaders in our fight to discuss and modernize apprenticeship programs. The Trimet Board has an opportunity to prevent the future concern of elected leaders throughout Oregon, which you could pass a resolution supporting apprenticeships. You could sign on to support the passage of an apprenticeship legislation that we were pushing down in Salem that could bring clarity to the bargaining process. And you can give clear direction and expectations to Trimet management that a healthy, productive relationship with ATU is in the best interest of our community, our ridership, and our employees. A relationship can be positive or negative, but what needs to be strived for is a partnership. ATU 757 has true partnerships with employers in the regions, from Eugene to Vancouver, where each side has the ability to give deep consideration for the other's proposals, opinions, and solutions. This does not always mean agreement, but mutual respect is never in doubt. This is something ATU would like to see Trimet Board seek to find in the next general manager, a true collaborator across all key stakeholders. Thank you for your time this morning, and I strongly encourage this board to approve the tentative labor agreement with the ATU. Thank you.
Yeah, the board is anti-union. You just have to understand that. There's a push to privatize as much stuff as possible. This is coming from above Trimet, probably from the feds. All this stuff trickles down. You think that Trimet is somehow independent. Well, it's independent in how it operates. It's not independent from the oligarchy itself. It's merely a functionary.
Thank you, Mr. Bradley. Appreciate it. And we are glad we have the agreement to vote on today. It's a good outcome. We hope it can build on,
Yeah, sure.
be a start of improving relationships.
I'm not sure why Dessous just made a deal all of a sudden. I mean, that was all posturing. It was all bullshit. It's all politics. You know, they're all getting absurd amount of pay to drag this shit out. They can hire outside lawyers and shit. I mean, it's all a joke. All of this bureaucracy is a joke. It's all done behind closed doors. Even though the taxpayers foot the bill, you know, they don't get to watch any of it.
As you point out, and the board has made it clear to the interim general manager and to the previous general manager that continuing to work on relationships with ATU is very critical and important.
See, he's lying through his fucking teeth. It's not what he did. He's just lying to you with a straight face.
Board. So stay tuned. There'll be more on that.
Yeah. We will be, Bruce. Thank you.
Thank you. Jeff, next speaker.
Okay, next up is Lee H. Lee, you are unmuted.
Awesome. Can you all hear me?
We can.
Yes.
Great. My name is Lee Helfand. I use they, them pronouns. I am with Opal and Bus Riders Unite. I was not planning on speaking originally, but after Congressman Bluemenaur spoke, I just wanted to do some shout outs actually. First, I want to say that community members have stood by ATU throughout the duration of negotiations, and we're excited with the progress that's been made, and thankful for those who really stepped up to actually engage at the table in a robust way. Additionally, thinking about federal funding and how that impacts transit locally, there are exciting opportunities to think creatively about how we can spend that federal funding in ways that really support the most impacted community members. Specifically, with Bus Riders Unite, we represent low-income, transit-dependent, and riders of color. We're really hoping that we can either expand the low-income fares program or expand other programs that increase access for our communities. And we're excited to work with you all to do that. I've been in touch with John Gardner, and he's been super supportive in doing some of that community outreach to see how community members can engage in those conversations. And I also just want to do a shout out to Laverne Lewis, who was able to attend one of our BRU meetings recently. And that kind of community engagement really helps strengthen the trust that our community members can have in Trimet. We hope to see more of that in the future, and welcome you all to come speak at our meetings and answer questions. It went really well, and we are just excited to continue to engage in thinking about increasing accessibility and hopefully even a pathway for what it might mean to go fareless. I think we can be really creative in where this money is coming from and how we're funding these opportunities, and how we can actually make the changes that are beginning to pop up in lots of other places across the country as well. But I think that's it. Thank you. And you can always reach out to me, Lee at opalpdx.org. Thanks.
Thank you for your testimony this morning, Lee. Appreciate it. Jeff, is there anyone else who would like to testify this morning?
I have no more raised hands this morning.
Well, it's fast.
Well, with that, I'm going to close the public forum, and I'm going to call to order the regular business meeting of the Trimet Board of Directors for April 28th, 2021.
Let's go.
So with that, I'm going to go right into the board reports.
Okay.
And I'm going to call first on Director Bauman for a report on the Committee on Accessible Transportation. Director Bauman, are you ready for one this morning?
Yes, good morning. Here's a quick report. The CAT met last week on April 21st. Interim General Manager Sam Dessous visited and reported on several matters, including a recent Lyft customer survey, which shows that 94% of Lyft customers are satisfied with the service, and that's a tremendous result, and it's actually up from the last survey. And I need to apologize somehow, despite wearing a mask all the time, I have a cold, so I apologize. My voice is scratchy. Next, Pat Williams gave a report on safety and security. He talked about efforts to improve safety on the system, including an increased presence on buses. And he described efforts to use data analysis and training to reduce operator assaults and identify people who repeatedly cause disruptions. John Bell, Senior Manager of Customer Information, talked about efforts to make MACs and bus announcements and signage more accessible to people experiencing disabilities. We discussed in particular the challenges around scrolling on LED signs on buses and MACs. Those scrolling signs are, for some members of the community, difficult to manage. Finally, Jesse Stemler provided an update on the Division Transit project, including bus delivery and testing, and that is the report.
Thank you
Yippee.
very much. Are there any questions or comments by the board for Director Bellman? Hearing none, then let's move on to the Metro Policy Advisory Committee, MPAC. Director Wade, do you have a report this month?
Director Wade, where is she?
Is she muted or?
Oh, I just unmuted myself.
Okay.
Hello and good morning, board members. I was unable to attend last month's MPAC meeting due to a commitment to moderate an anti-Asian hate crimes panel. So Jeffrey Owen from our team attended, and it was a pretty short agenda, but we'll just cover the highlights. So there was a presentation on 2020 compliance report that was from Metro Council, and there was also a quick update in terms of the 2021 MPAC member roster, as well as the 2021 Community Placemaking Grant applications, which I mentioned before, I believe, in a previous MPAC report, that those are going to be great opportunities for agencies as well as different community-based organizations to really come up with a plan to better improve their neighborhoods around several of the priorities that are that Metro Council is looking for. And I believe it was a quick meeting. I don't know if Jeff is on to add anything else, but that is the report today, and there is an MPAC meeting happening today at 5 p.m.
Thank you. Jeff, are you on? Did you have anything you wanted to add?
Jeff? Hello, Jeff.
I guess not. Is there any questions for Director Wade?
Oh,
Okay, hearing none. Let's move on then to the Transit Equity Advisory Committee, or as we call
the
it, TIAC. Director
Equity
Gonzalez.
Advisory Committee.
Hello. Thank you very much, President Warner.
Aussie time.
The Transit Equity Advisory Committee met on April 13th. I was
Aussie
able to
time.
attend, and the agenda began with what is now becoming a standing item, the General Manager's search update. I was able to provide some updates on the latest activities of the committee. And we then went into the topic of a fare study. Trimet's been conducting a fare subsidy study that looks at other jurisdictions and models for fare subsidies, really to try to answer the question,
How much are they spending on that contract?
how would or how could a fareless system work? And they were able to report on some of the
What do you mean, how could it work? We know how it could work. You find the money from the fares from somewhere else, and that's it. I mean, there's just no end to the ridiculous bureaucracy from governmental units. They just, the famous, let's conduct a study, more money, more money, more money.
those findings to TIAC. In the room were some of the partners that have been involved in this study. Opal Bus Riders Unite is both a TIAC member and was participating in the continued research that will move forward on the Fairless program models, and was all very much forthright in willingness to work with Trimet to continue to explore these models.
Study.
So
Unbelievable.
there is a goal to report back to TIAC in the fall on the research, on the findings of this research, and to provide some recommendations on how to pursue externally funded fair subsidy pilots in the future. So this work is...
I think that one of our Twitter, fellow Trimet Twitter, what's his name? Can't recall it offhand, but he made the very sensible recommendation that's just like a utility fee. It's just a monthly fee added onto the water bill or the whatever bill comes in monthly. You add a $10 fee, and that makes your system fair. Oh, Bjorn. His name is Bjorn. I don't remember his last name.
It's ongoing. And then there was an update on another very topic of high interest to TIAC, the reimagining public safety. We had some staff from Trimet step in. Marla Blagg and Marissa Clark were giving updates on the reimagining program. So there was some training curriculum, training plans that have been developed, and a safety response team that they were able to talk about to TIAC. So there were some good questions about that and the next steps for the project. Let's see. And then finally, to round it out, there was an update on the TIAC survey. The staff is beginning to build out the work and focus on the next year for TIAC members. So the members were invited to provide some feedback and a short survey from their organizations to really start understanding what the individual TIAC member organizations feel are their highest priorities, and how we can kind of understand them better so we can bring their interests into the agenda. So, good things ahead as we learn to kind of move the ball forward as a committee, and I'm happy to answer any questions. That was the end of the report.
Thank you very much. Good report.
Great, lovely report. Tells us nothing.
Director Gonzalez?
Nope.
Barring any questions, I'd like to close with a shout out to some of the folks I've been seeing out in the procurement team. I do a lot of work in the community with small business associations, and it's been remarkable to see Trimet staff from procurement out making the message very loud and clear that Trimet's open to doing business with our local vendors. So I wanted to say thank you to Lester Spittler, Aiden Gronauer, and Gerald Fields, who have been doing a fantastic job of representing the agency outside.
Wonderful. Thank you, Director Gonzalez. Appreciate that. Director Bauman, would you like to give us an update on the General Manager Search Committee?
No, it's here.
Yes, the search committee consists of me and Director Gonzalez and Director Simmons. We have been meeting on a regular basis. On behalf of the committee members,
it's all in secret, by the way. It's all in secret. We don't get to watch any of it.
I want to thank, again, members of the community who provided input on the knowledge, skills, and abilities that the board should look for in a new general manager. We are still accepting comments on the GM search page at the Trimet website, and we certainly welcome comments from the community.
Marketing. So
this process is going to be picking up pace coming into May. In mid-May, the search committee will start looking at the applicant pool, and will narrow down a list to 3 or so finalists. In June, the full board will interview those finalists. We're also organizing a community panel made up of a cross-section of people from throughout the community who will interview the finalists as well, and will provide feedback to the board. We are still on track to name a new general manager before the end of June.
Thank you, Director Bauman. Questions, comments for Director Bauman?
A new technocrat. Yay! Like that's going to change anything. No, don't be fooled by this.
Any other?
That's like thinking you're going to elect Biden and something's going to change. The only thing electing Biden did was get that idiot clown off the stage.
their search committee members wanted to make any comments too, feel free. All right.
I just want to publicly thank everybody out there in the community
Here we
that
go
has
again.
stepped forward to accept the request to form part of the search committee process. A major part of this process is going to be from having an opportunity to hear from parts of our community. So special thanks to everyone out there that has accepted, and I really look forward to a great process ahead.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right, with that, let's move on then to the general manager's report. Mr. Dessou, it's yours.
All right, here we go.
Thanks, President Warner. Good morning, President Warner, board members, the public, and our employees. Thank you for being here today.
Yeah.
This morning, we will be sharing timely information to you.
Okay.
First, several important announcements concerning the COVID-19 pandemic and vaccinations. Also, I'll brief you regarding our March ridership, and then we will provide you an update about the team effort between Trimet and PBOT that's working to make our transit system faster and more efficient. And also, during my time as interim general manager, I want to celebrate each month just a few employees. I want to bring them as my guests to the board and introduce them to you and let you know how great our employees are and give you an opportunity to meet them. So I'll start and begin just over a year ago, about 13 months since COVID-19 pandemic brought our world to a halt. It changed our lives and really challenged us to adjust how we deliver service to the community. I'm thrilled to share some news that as of Monday, Trimet began hosting on-site vaccination clinics.
That's right, drivers. No more whining about people without masks. Get your goddamn shot, and you'll be safe from the COVID world order. Get your shot, and no more whining about people without masks. That's all we hear on the scanner. He won't wear his mask. He won't wear his mask. What am I going to do? It's against the fucking president. Well, once you get your shot, you can relax, okay?
For all of our employees, our operators, other frontline employees, mission critical workers who must travel to our facilities to keep us running, and so many other employees throughout Trimet have shown tremendous dedication and courage throughout this pandemic. While many employees, including frontline employees, have been able to get vaccinated at local clinics and pharmacies, several of our operation and maintenance staff have struggled to find appointments that work with their schedules. So by setting up clinics at our operating facilities, we are making it easy and convenient for them to get their shots. We are very grateful to the governor's office, our OHA, our VLT, our leadership team, the ATU for helping us to get the vaccines and provide them to our employees.
Better late than never.
I just want to thank you, the board, want to thank the public, and again, I want to thank the ATU for this effort here to really put us in line for these vaccines. Additionally, Trimet is helping members of our communities that we serve to get to vaccination appointments. Our Lyft paratransit team is continuing to show its commitment to people in need. Lyft has begun transporting people from underserved communities to the convention center to receive their vaccine shots. We are coordinating this effort with an organization that's called the Giving Tree. The initial focus will be to transport those with mobility issues, but the plan is to eventually lend this service to as many as 900 people within our region. Just as Lyft has performed nearly 1,500 grocery deliveries for our riders during this pandemic, we've delivered meals and volunteered in various roles at Meals on Wheels during this time. I just want to say Lyft and the entire Trimet team are continuing to help our community through the pandemic, and well done. And my heart goes out to all of our employees. I really appreciate that. Moving on to our March ridership. So let's take a quick look at March. Trimet provided just under 3.5 million trips in March of this year. That reflected a decrease of about 37% since March of last year when the pandemic was emerging. Our weekly bus ridership is down just under 56% from pre-pandemic levels, and our max ridership is down about 61% from pre-pandemic levels. West ridership has dropped as well, more than 78% since March of 2019. Again, that's comparing ridership not to March of last year during the lockdown, but to the year before when our transit ridership was quite robust. Also keep in mind that service levels remain much lower on West and a bit lower on Max and Bus. However, we do expect our customers will begin coming back on board as vaccines become more available to more people. And we look forward to that day. We are doing things already now to start the recovery of riders. And one of those efforts is to enhance transit and keep our buses on time. Experts say that transit will be the key to re-energizing our economy in a post-COVID-19 environment. Throughout the pandemic, Trimet and the Portland Bureau of Transportation have continued to collaborate and maintain our commitment to making transit better and keeping our buses moving on time. So for an update on these efforts, to discuss Rose Lanes and other projects, I've asked Executive Director Steve Witter and Manager of Capital Planning Jamie Snook of Trimet and April Bertelson, our Transit Coordinator for Portland Bureau of Transportation, to join us today and provide you with a very short presentation.
What is this?
Steve and team, I'll turn it over to you.
What? I missed it. What are they talking about? Come on, Sam. Turn it over. Come on, Sam.
I'm sorry, Sam. I couldn't find my mute button. Sam?
There he is.
Yes, you're there?
Okay. Yep,
okay.
I'm here. I apologize.
No problem.
Okay. Well, Sam, thank you. And good morning, President Warner, Board of Directors. I appreciate having the opportunity here to share an update of the good work that Trimet Metro and the City of Portland have been doing to prioritize transit.
Okay, bus lane.
Together, we've developed a regional enhanced transit corridor program to increase ridership and improve transit reliability. You've seen these out on the streets. We're starting to see, bus-only lanes and red paint more and more. The City of Portland has been a tremendous partner in this great work, and they've taken it even further in developing their own
they're wonderful.
program, to continue this work and help transit and transit riders. As the region grows and congestion increases, we're seeing that buses are getting stuck in traffic and trips are taking longer, and this affects ridership. Again, we've heard that, we have a shift of folks that really need transit to be reliable and on time. The city understands this importance, and they've been proactive in planning and identifying ways with us to improve transit in the most congested parts of the city. Together, the city and Trimet have taken a data-driven approach to identify where the most delay is and what improvements can really improve transit time and reliability. Together, we've identified and implemented improvements across the city, and the team that's leading that charge is here today to provide an update. We're really excited about the work they've done on the regional ETC program and the Rose Lanes. And it's my pleasure to introduce Jamie Snook, the Manager of Capital Planning, and April Bertelson, a longtime Trimet partner, who's a transit coordinator at PBOT. And they put together a great slide deck, a lot of slides. And so it's, I just ask our team to kind of manage their time, but really excited to be here, and thank you for the time. I'm going to turn it over to Jamie at this point. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, I know that we are short on time, so we will make this very quick.
Snook.
We just are
really... Is that Snook from Star Wars? The Star Wars Snook?
To be able to come here and give you an update. And so
Supreme
what we're going
Leader
to share is
We're going to talk a little bit about ETC and the partnership, and then really the bulk of this presentation will update you on what the Roseland project is up to, and then we'll wrap it up. So just as a reminder, what is Regional Enhanced Transit Concept, or ETC? It's all about partnerships, and the partnership to increase ridership and improve transit speed and reliability. And really this means doing context-sensitive, low-cost improvements that are quickly deployable and make a big difference on our transit riders. So here's a long list of all the different tools in the toolbox, and really the tools are based on what the delay is and how we can improve our operations for our riders. This is really all about partnership and working together, and the City of Portland has been a great partner in this, from the regional concept of the ETC as a concept through the Central City in Motion and the transit right spot improvements, and now Roseland's really taking that ETC work and bringing it to a higher level and branding and celebrating with the community what we can do with transit within the city. So we're really appreciative to work with the City of Portland on this great initiative.